The issue of so-called Korea discount, meaning its stocks being undervalued, has been making headlines recently. It's the topic of our weekly business segment tonight. Our economics correspondent Moon Hye-ryeon joins me in the studio. Hi, Hye-ryeon.
Good evening, Jung-min.
Evening. So what exactly is the Korea discount and why is an issue?
So the Korea discount refers to a phenomenon in which the value of companies that are listed on the Korean stock market is lower than that of other major countries. It's difficult to determine a single cause for why this is the case, but geopolitical risks, lower stock market reliability, and a management culture that values major shareholders more than general shareholders are often mentioned as contributing factors. And it's a very real issue. According to the Korea Exchange, the PB ratio of the country's benchmark KOSPI is one of the lowest out of the 38 OECD member countries. PB stands for price to book ratio, and it shows the market valuation of a company compared to its book value. If the PB ratio is lower than 1, it means that the company's current stock value is lower than the money left from selling its assets. Domestic tech giant Samsung Electronics has a PB ratio value of 1.1, which is significantly lower than Apple's. And South Korean multinational automotive manufacturer Hyundai Motor has a PB ratio of 0.5. As a result, the Yoon administration has pledged a reform of the stock market, starting with the short-selling ban last year and following up with a new program that's to come.
제 임기 중에 글로벌 스탠다드에 맞지 않는 자본 시장의 규제는 과감하게 혁파해서 글로벌 증시 수준으로 코리아 디스카운트를 해소할 것입니다.
And Hye-ryeon, what is this suggested new program hoping to tackle this issue?
So a general outline of the corporate value-up program was released last month, and as you can probably tell by the name, it aims to increase the value of stocks with low PB ratios. The financial regulatory body said that while the finer details will be announced sometime later this month, it consists of 3 main components. The first is the sharing of information, disclosing comparative data of major investment indicators such as the PB ratio and the return on equity value for listed companies. The second is to recommend firms to set concrete plans to increase corporate value, and the third is introducing exchange-traded funds of companies that have achieved such goals. And even before its official implementation, the program is already having an effect on the stock market. Following its announcement last month, the KOSPI Composite Index surged from the 2,400 mark to over 2,620 over the past few weeks.
Stocks of those that have low PB ratios, such as financial and motor firms, have generally shown the biggest rise.
Foreign investments, too, came piling in. In February so far, offshore investors bought nearly $4.5 billion worth of local stocks, which is the 5th largest monthly sum to date, despite only being halfway through the month. Experts are hopeful about what the program could continue to do for the market once it goes into effect.
We can look forward to an increase in capital efficiency and greater ROE for firms with low PB ratios, leading to a rise in PB ratios for these firms.
And are there any concerns ahead of the release of its finer details?
Well, in light of the market showing a sharp upward trend following the announcement, experts are wary that this could die off just as quickly. I spoke to an expert about why the program is attracting foreign investment and what the government needs to do to maintain this trend. Let's take a listen.
Through the value-up program, there's a good possibility that several of the problems that are inherent in Korean stocks may be reduced, but they have to be followed by further reforms and further commitment by Korean companies and the Korean government that stockholders' value will be respected.
And this commitment is not only something that needs to be reflected in policies, but the length of time that they're implemented for.
Because the Korean discount has lasted for decades, any short-term programs are not going to be able to eliminate Korean discount.
There are also concerns that as the current program looks as though it will be more of an advisory than enforcement, requiring firms to set target goals could fall flat. But we'll have to wait for further details to see how the government plans to address these concerns.
All right, thanks for your report today, Hye-ryeon.
Thank you for having me.